Hey Adam!
Yeah?
What time is it? It's about time for Nintendo to finally get its online service worked out.
Hot take?
We got a tweet sent in from longtime fan of the show, Chris Pranger. Let's read the tweet.
Yeah, Chris Pranger, and this is not a direct quote, I'm sorry Chris, I chopped up some of what you said, asked, what effect will Nintendo Switch Online have on the Wii U and 3DS networks? What could be shutting down and when?
Now, this is a really interesting question because typically video game companies that are out there that have an online service, at least in the past little bit of history, don't really like keeping online services up all that long.
Yeah, right. Well, when they have another console already out, do they want to support the last console all that much? Well, we've already seen that the Miiverse was cut. It was just last year they chopped the Miiverse out of Wii U.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were upset about that.
A lot of people are upset.
So yeah,
about that.
we're kind of waiting and wondering what's going to happen. When will the Nintendo network for the 3DS and Wii U be shut down so that this new online service can blossom with the Switch, right? So we know a little bit about what this service will be for the Switch. We finally have to pay for the service. It's going to be about $3.99 a month. There are different plans. There's family plans. There's yearly plans and monthly plans.
Like normal for any of these services.
Right. They're not crazy expensive. Like a family plan for like a year is $35 for like a bunch of people, and that's quite reasonable. Whereas the other plans are closer to about $60 US, I believe, with the PS4 and Xbox.
Yes, that's true. There are. We're going to talk about the prices a little bit more in the future there, but it really it has to deal a lot with the idea of what you're actually getting with the service compared to the other networks.
Well, let me tell you, Shane.
Okay.
What you're getting with this service, you're getting cloud saves.
Cool.
Which is good.
Good. It's good. It's cool.
In the past, if your Switch was kicked or dropped in water or eaten or any of the above together, you would lose all of your save data. Your Breath of the Wild would be gone with the wind.
Could have used a micro SD card and backed up the save that way, but they wouldn't let you do that. But this is fine. You have to pay for it. That's cool.
So now it's in the cloud, and if you get a new Switch, or even if you're on another buddy's Switch, you can get that data, which is nice. Okay.
Cool.
Another thing,
right.
20 retro games are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service immediately. A few of them are Balloon Fight, Soccer, Ice Climbers, Tennis, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros, Dr. Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros 1 and 3. And there's going to be a few more as well.
So as far as we know, we're only getting NES games. So.
Yeah. The one thing that I know we can be a little like, oh, just NES games. The one kind of cool thing that I have to hand them is that there is some other functionality, which is kind of neat. There's some online functionality where you can pass the controls and stuff, which seems cool.
Sure. All right.
And that is about it. There's also going to be special offers.
Sure.
So I'm sure,
just like
on
the Wii U.
On the store. Oh, today it's 20% off. Yada yada yada. Right.
Okay. So let's just talk about this now. A lot of people are going, at least you're not charging a lot. Well, they better not, because there's barely anything there, okay? This is just the bare bones entry service into any online thing. But let's get back to Chris's question to begin with, okay?
Yeah.
Because Chris's question is actually a very interesting question to be thinking about. You see, when it comes to the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, even the Vita, they're all a part of the same network. You buy one on one thing, it gets transferred over to the other. When you buy something on the Xbox 360, it gets transferred over to the Xbox One. Right? When it comes to the Switch stands alone. When it comes to the 3DS stands alone. When it comes to the Wii U stands alone. When it comes to the Wii, it stood alone. So you have all these different services for all these different products that are in no way connected or use the same account, so Nintendo has no incentive to keep the accounts alive or active. This also means that Nintendo's entire online infrastructure for the past decade has basically been lost because they have no way to keep the information of all those people going through from system to system, meaning that all the other companies that have been retaining all this information over the time have been able to keep a consistent and informed user base. Even when you make fun of the Sony infrastructure and the way they have set up, the fact that you can't even change your name because they don't know how to do that apparently, it still means that any game you purchase from the past can still move forward, to the point that I've bought PlayStation 3 games that have eventually appeared on the PlayStation 4 PS4.
Yeah.
And original Xbox games have appeared on the Xbox 360 and have appeared on the Xbox One for me.
To be fair, the backwards compatibility from the PS4 to the PS3 and Vita is a bit iffy, right? But does still seem to feel like a through line between all those consoles.
Well, it's like if you bought a PlayStation 1 Classic on PlayStation 3, it would work on the Vita.
Yeah.
I'm very angry that that doesn't work on the PlayStation 4, because Sony, if you're watching, there's no reason why that's a thing. But what really gets me is that this online service, it really does. I mean, it's great that it's there. We're finally getting something. I'm happy that the prices are as cheap as they are. 20 NES games that I can play with my friends. If I didn't already own the NES Classic, you know, that would have been a big deal. But the idea of the Switch being the only online service after the 3DS goes away, after the Wii U goes away, that worries me, because there are things I've purchased on those systems that are just going to disappear. And Nintendo has gotten to that point where they're willing to cut it off now.
That's right. And we have even spoken about this topic with their past services as well. With the Wii and Nintendo DS, they had their online functionality. The Nintendo Wi-Fi connection was only supported until, well, it was cut in May of 2014. Now, this was being able to play competitively with other people online. Yeah. And then a little bit later on, actually it was just recently, that the Nintendo, the shop itself, the Wii Shop channel, finally said, okay, no, you can no longer put tokens in for the games, points rather, for the games within the eShop. And then later in 2019, January 30th of 2019, you will no longer be able to use the Wii Shop at all. And that's huge, because it's not just some other rinky-dink sort of online service that's going. A lot of people consider what was created with the Wii eShop to be like the one of the better virtual console sort of selections.
It's true,
because it was just massive, from Master System to TurboGrafx to N64 and so on.
Anything that you were purchasing on those systems could have been played with regular just button inputs. This isn't anything that's really complex or difficult. Those purchases should have been moved over to the Wii U. Now, the Wii U did have the ability to actually have a Wii install onto it, so you can actually boot it up into Wii mode and play Wii games.
I do that all the time. I love it.
Yeah, so that's why they didn't feel a need to transfer over. At least that's how they've explained it. But those service purchases never actually moved forward, so on the Wii U, you would have to rebuy those games again if they were released on there.
So you can play those purchases through the Wii eShop on your Wii U, but they're not on the Wii U specifically.
But see, that's the problem, because they're turning that service off.
Yeah, exactly.
Now with the Wii U, right? The Wii U is going to has a bunch of games on there. Like, it has a very interesting version of Earthbound. It has like a guide and stuff onto it. That's just going to disappear.
Yeah.
And I get it, you know, it sucks, but I am just at this point where I see Nintendo doing things for the digital storefront, and I don't know if I want to buy more things onto it, because I'm afraid, because in a couple of years, it's going to go away again.
Yeah, it seems like there's sort of a mentality here, and maybe I'm putting words in their mouths, but it seems like they're just like, well, they'll buy it again. So
that's just what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I think when it comes to Earthbound, I think we are going to get another iteration of that. I don't think we're going to lose that. It may not come in the exact same package as we had before, but it'll come back again and people will buy it again. Right? Which is like, okay, good. People can access it, but you already bought it.
It's just like, this is just my thing. I'm so sick of Nintendo not keeping things straight when it comes to purchases for digital support, because I feel like there's no reason. The Switch, folks, is a fantastic portable system. Having all of those backwards compatible titles that you purchased in the past just appear in your account right now is a great idea. And I know there's going to be a bunch of you in the comments, because this happens every time I ever talk about backwards compatibility for the Nintendo Switch. Audio go, well, you weren't promised future compatibility. I guess not, but so what? When I buy a DVD movie, I want it to work in my Blu-ray player. When I buy a Blu-ray movie, I want it to work in my 4K Blu-ray player. Why do I have to basically accept that a company is not willing to keep their older games moving forward?
You know what's so bizarre about this is that digitally they haven't kept things backwards compatibility, but they've been one of the better companies for physical releases being backwards until the Switch
that's
came
true,
out,
yes.
Right? But we had GameCube support on the Wii, we had Wii support on the Wii U, DS to 3DS, the Game Boys were up to the Game Boy Advance, and it seems a bit strange, that contrast.
So here's my problem. Without the ability to actually take your game saves out of the Switch, right, and it's linked to a cloud account, What happens when they turn off the service? What if you just accidentally don't pay for 1 month, or you forget or something like that, and the service goes away, and then all your cloud saves, are they deleted now? Are they still retained?
So, like, my only hope for, like, the future of this Switch Online service being, like, fantastic is that this does become their first concrete sort of tent pole, where they're like, no, we're branching from here, and for the next 3 decades, it will only be the Nintendo Switch Online service. They could do that, man.
They could. And you know what? That right there is the hope I have for it.
Yeah.
I hope that we start to see a bunch of really cool classic games get brought back in. I hope that it becomes more than 20 NES games, which seems a little ridiculous. You know, like, I get it, they want to start somewhere small.
Yeah.
But you better get close to SNES, N64, and start moving higher up, because you've resold us the NES game several times now, and to use this as an incentive is kind of a slap to the face when we've already purchased these games, in some cases 4 or 5 times already.
As someone who really loves Nintendo, and I've dealt with the online services for several of their console iterations, what I want from the well, it's not eShop anymore, but from the Nintendo Switch Online is not what we've seen with the eShop, or even with the Wii's online shop, where they did release some games, all right, and then there was a slow trickle. Okay, it wasn't quite as egregious on the Wii shop channel, but on the Wii U, it was like, man, there was a huge drought and like huge gaps of time in between releases, and I feel like they can't do that with Switch Online. Did you know? I didn't even know this until a few days ago. Maybe my eyes weren't open or my ears weren't readied, but Pokemon Snap came out on the Wii U. Like, right before the Switch was a thing.
Did it really?
Right before the Switch launched.
I didn't even know that.
And, these are things that, like, there are these huge gaps, and not a lot of the news gets out a lot of the time. Maybe I just missed that update or whatever, but it's things like that. If the Nintendo Switch online shop wants to garner a bit more love, at least from my perspective, like, they need to have a steady flow of titles. And it's not like they don't have them.
No, I mean, what gets me about what they're talking about with these 20 games that are going to be releasing, there's an idea here that we get a Netflix-like service for Nintendo games.
We've been saying this forever, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did a video about that, and I laid it all out, like, what they should be doing. I like this idea. But Nintendo, if that's the idea, and you remove these games month after month or change them out, that's not okay. We need to be able to keep these games and be able to play them again and again. This library should only keep getting bigger and bigger, and if they go and cycle in like, well, that's the last time you're going to be able to play Balloon Fight forever, it's like, no. Yeah. See, that's the mistake. And you don't have to worry about that with them, hopefully, because they own all the rights and the licenses.
Exactly.
Right?
there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to.
But I have this feeling,
sneaking suspicion,
right, that they're going to go in and they're going to remove things that they don't care about anymore. See, here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand with Netflix. Netflix has a bunch of TV shows that they've bought the rights to, and those rights are theirs basically forever as long as they want them, and those episodes will stay there because they themselves produce the episodes. We've seen online services where they kind of take the games or the other movies and kind of move them around and stuff, and you don't want that, because if you've made games, as Nintendo has, you need those to kind of stay in the service. Let's just think of it this way. After a year, let's say we've got a big online list of maybe, let's be super positive, 200 classic games after a year, okay? I'm talking NES, I'm talking SNES, I'm talking some Game Boy, some Game Boy Advance, N64. Hey, maybe a Virtual Boy game or here or there just for fun, okay? You got all that
you
stuff.
Just say that for me.
Oh, no. There's games on there, okay? They existed. Now, you got all those games on the platform, and it's this digital service. You would add the value to this service so significantly.
Here's an idea, and I don't know if this is something that Nintendo has talked about yet or not. It's that all the games that they release that you download, you get that tiny little download like license or whatever, and maybe there is a rotation thing going on, but if you downloaded those games when they were initially launched on the store, you always get those games. So maybe that would give you an
just like you could always download them after they turned off the digital services.
No, but I'm saying though that it would give the consumer more of a push to like get into the online store like day one.
Yeah.
If I'm day one, everything that they release ever,
I'll
have within my Nintendo Switch Online account. That that would be a pretty cool approach, even if they did rotate things.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best here.
Yeah.
I've wanted them to go to this online service for a while. It is a little bit ridiculous that we've waited this long for a Nintendo online service on a Switch, because like all the other systems that have launched have had their online services pretty much out the door.
Yeah.
And it's to see them wait this long is kind of strange, because it almost feels like, look, folks, even if you're a Nintendo fan, you have to admit that this sounds like they came at this completely unprepared. Like, you would never release a console without any online service.
Well, I mean, like
that.
they're not always day and date. So, like the Wii Shop, it launched in November 19th of 2006, where the Nintendo Wii came out. You know, before that. But
the Wii is different because the Wii came around at a time when online services wasn't a normality on the system.
This wasn't the online service as we know it today. Yeah. Right. It was much different.
And actually, the Wii, when the Wii came out, it had a web browser. Right, like it actually had those things, and you could do things on the Wii like that, and I think that with the Switch, you have so few online services. You don't even have like Netflix and stuff on.
It's supposedly coming to it.
That's I hope, right? I mean, it's a beautiful little portable system that can do that kind of stuff.
I wanted to kind of head back a little bit, because even though we have been talking a lot about the Nintendo Switch Online service, which Chris did ask us about, he was kind of wondering about what would happen with the Wii U and 3DS networks. So just really quick, the 3DS is still being supported right now. So I do believe that the network, which I guess ties together the Wii U and the 3DS a bit, I believe that network will still be up for a while. But because of the weird stepchild that is the Wii U, the black sheep, like I do wonder if that online functionality will be cut and they'll just have a 3DS.
I think it's going to be that way. I think that the 3DS is going to outlive everything else on that platform, and the Wii U is just going to be killed, because the Wii U has no fun. I mean, hey, look, sorry, folks, I bought a Wii U day one, and I know many of you didn't, so that's why they didn't do it, right? They're not going to continue on with it, just sadly.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure how like integral or how connected the 3DS and Wii U Nintendo networks are to each other. If like bringing down one would be more of a hassle than just keeping both up or whatever. But if that's so, maybe the Wii U the online service will be on longer. But if not, then I mean, there's not much left to the Wii U, right? So we could see that service going down relatively soon. We saw the Miiverse get axed, and that happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I keep my fingers crossed that the services are around for as long as they can be, because I do have some digital titles on there that I'm downloading and deleting sometimes.
I mean, Switch essentially is a very bare bones experience. I think they did that on purpose. They really wanted to be limited because they didn't want to focus on all these frills and additional features. I think the Wii U is the next one to go, simply because it makes the most sense. It's the one that nobody cares about. And the 3DS is the one that people are still actively gaming on, and they're still releasing games for.
Yeah, so if they can kind of lop off that one big limb that was the Wii U and maintain that network specifically for the 3DS, I could see that network still living on. Like, usually they live on for a good 2 or 3 years after, you know, the final breaths of the console. I mean, like for the Wii, we're just seeing their shop going offline just next year, early next year. But the online multiplayer functionality has been gone for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, folks, what do you think? Are you kind of nervous about the Wii U and 3DS shops going down? What do you think of the Switch shop? Are you kind of excited about that stuff, or the Switch online service? Let us know in the comments below.